The process by which royal estates capitalize on unclaimed assets from deceased individuals, known as bona vacantia, has been a historical means for monarchies to accumulate wealth. This concept, rooted in the Latin term meaning unoccupied goods, pertains to estates left behind by individuals who pass away without a will or identifiable heirs, raising the pertinent question of inheritance. In the context of England and Wales, when individuals expire without a will or known heirs, their assets typically revert to the treasury. Nonetheless, exceptions prevail in specific regions with historical connections to royal estates, such as the duchies of Lancaster and Cornwall. These duchies, managed by professional administrators, have amassed considerable revenue by leasing out various properties like farmlands, hotels, offices, and shops. They serve the primary purpose of generating ostensibly private income for the reigning monarch and the heir to the throne. Operating under the bona vacantia system, the Duchy of Cornwall asserts its claim over estates of individuals who pass away intestate in Cornwall, particularly when no relatives can be traced. Similarly, the Duchy of Lancaster follows suit, laying claim to the estates of individuals whose last known residence was historically within the Palatine County of Lancashire, an area encompassing present-day Lancashire, parts of Merseyside, Greater Manchester, Cheshire, and Cumbria. Additionally, the duchy collects residual assets owned by companies at the time of their liquidation. The origins of these practices trace back to the Middle Ages, coinciding with the establishment of both duchies. In 1265, Henry VIII suppressed a feudal revolt and subsequently bestowed the rebel leader's seized lands upon his second surviving son, Edmund. These territories, primarily located in northern England, formed the Duchy of Lancaster. Charters issued in 1399 and 1485 by monarchs specified that the profits from this duchy would automatically benefit whoever occupied the throne, constituting a significant financial stream for the ruling monarch. Despite facing controversies, these duchies persist today, serving as lucrative sources of income for members of the royal family, with substantial annual payments disbursed. For instance, the Duchy of Lancaster paid Charles £26 million last year, an amount classified as his private income by Buckingham Palace. Previously, the monarchy could claim the entire estate of individuals who died without heirs due to the theoretical ownership of all English land by the Crown. However, in 1830, this authority was relinquished, albeit with exceptions. The duchies of Lancaster and Cornwall retained the prerogative to collect property from those who died intestate within their historical domains. This practice was formally incorporated into law in 1925 through the Administration of Wills Act, conferring legal authority upon the duchies to claim estates from deceased individuals. Oddly enough, the rationale behind this legal decision remains obscure. Parliamentary records lack any deliberation on the law's passing, and the National Archives, the government's repository of historical documents, contains no relevant records. Since then, the duchy's entitlement to bona vacantia assets has persisted as a relatively obscure facet of Britain's antiquated constitutional system, occasionally stirring controversy. In World War II, King George VI purportedly benefited from the deaths of soldiers and airmen, leading to a substantial increase in income from bona vacantia during the war. At that time, funds collected under the prevailing system were directed to the monarch through the duchy. Only in the 1980s did the duchy assert that proceeds from bona vacantia would not enrich the Queen, but would instead be allocated to charitable causes. Due to limited public scrutiny, it remained challenging to verify the validity of this claim until recent times. The financial management and allocation of funds within the estate of the king have come under scrutiny, particularly concerning a substantial sum of £14 million designated as bona vacantia that has not been directed towards charitable endeavors, despite the estate's claims of such intentions. The Duchy of Lancaster, an estate responsible for generating private income for the monarchy, operates by collecting the assets of individuals who pass away without a will or known heirs in various regions, including Lancashire, parts of Merseyside, Greater Manchester, Cheshire, and Cumbria. These assets, known as bona vacantia, are then utilized to support various financial needs, including the maintenance of historical sites like the Savoy Chapel. The estate has long asserted that after covering costs and charges, the remaining proceeds from Bona Vacantia would be channeled towards charitable causes. However, recent reports have cast doubt on this claim, revealing that a significant portion of these funds might be used for renovating properties owned by the monarchy, which are subsequently rented out for profit. While the Duchy of Lancaster has disclosed that approximately £61.8 million has been raised from Bona Vacantia over the past decades, only a mere £9.3 million, constituting 15% of the total, has been directed to charity. Moreover, questions have arisen regarding the unexplained £14 million, earmarked for charity but not yet donated, with the estate declining to provide a clear explanation for the delay in dispersing these funds. An analysis of the Duchy's accounts over the last decade reveals intriguing details. A portion of the funds, approximately £8.6 million, has been allocated to an overdue claims fund, serving as a provision for potential heirs of deceased individuals who might come forward in the future to claim their rightful inheritance. Moreover, a substantial sum, nearly £29.5 million, has been attributed to administrative costs and historical obligations, encompassing expenses related to managing the Bona Vacantia system, including legal fees and maintenance of castles and historic monuments. However, after deducting these administrative expenses and historical liabilities, the surplus from the Bona Vacantia funds is purportedly intended for charitable distribution. The Duchy's website indicates that 3 registered charities are slated to receive these surplus funds. Among them, the Duchy of Lancaster Charitable Foundation, over the past decade, received £1.7 million from Bona Vacantia funds, which were utilized to support various charitable activities across regions like Lancashire, Greater Manchester, and Merseyside. The Duchy of Lancaster Jubilee Trust, another recipient, received £5.4 million in education-related property receipts since 2013, primarily allocating more than 99% of its disbursements towards the upkeep of the Savoy Chapel. Additionally, the Duke of Lancaster Housing Trust, established in 2007 to provide affordable rural housing, received £3.3 million in Bona Vacantia funds, subsequently purchasing properties, some of which were acquired from the Duchy itself. Despite these allocations, a significant sum of £14 million from the Bona Vacantia remains undistributed to the designated charities, prompting questions about the estate's adherence to its articulated policy. The Duchy of Lancaster has refrained from providing an explanation for the delayed donation of these funds, and has not clarified whether any part of this money might be utilized for refurbishing the royal estate. The intricacies of financial allocations within the Duchy of Lancaster, especially concerning Bona Vacantia funds, have raised concerns regarding transparency and the fulfillment of stated charitable objectives. The public awaits further clarification and transparency from the royal estate regarding the allocation and distribution of these substantial funds. Dear friend, if you like everything new about the royal family and don't want to miss all the novelties, subscribe to our channel and like it. By doing so, you take part in our development. We work for you.